Okay, what do we got? We got watch this former big pharma lobbyist expose it all from video advice. Okay, what is going on?
The food industry and the processed food industry was created by the cigarette industry.
This is Callie
What?
Means on Tucker Carlson's podcast, exposing the dark connections between Big Pharma and the food industry.
Oh
Callie
shit.
was an insider, a former lobbyist for Big Pharma and big name companies.
Well, he can't possibly be an insider because if he's out here exposing everything, there's no way he would be alive, right? Because they would see he's doing all this and try to call out a hit on him, would they not? So, I mean, that's what we've seen from like all the Boeing whistleblowers, right? Oh, Boeing, or was it Boeing? I don't fucking remember. The big airplane companies that were like every time a new whistleblower would come out, it's like, oh, they just spontaneously die.
Like Coca-Cola, as you'll learn later in this discussion.
What is this? I say Coke's policies are evil because I saw inside the room. The first step in a playbook was paying the NAACP plus other civil rights groups to call opponents racist.
Today, he's what we call a whistleblower. Prepare yourself. What you're about to hear will change completely how you see the world of food.
Uh-oh.
Let's get started.
Big
In the
pharma.
1990s, the two largest food companies in the world were R.J. Reynolds and Philip Morris.
Okay.
What happened is when the Surgeon General way too late in the 1980s said cigarettes were maybe problematic, these are some of the largest companies.
May be problematic. Jesus. And isn't that little thing on the cigarette thing that's still there? And it still says may. What a fucking clown show.
The world with the largest cash piles of any company in the world. So what they did is they used their cash piles to
35.5 billion. Ooh, wow. Big cigarette money. Ooh.
buy food companies. We think about the 80s as the Wall Street era M&A, a lot of deals. The two biggest M&A deals up until 1990 in world history were cigarette companies buying food companies.
This wasn't just any corporate strategy. It was a calculated move by giants like R.J. Reynolds and Philip Morris, who were facing growing public backlash and tighter regulations on tobacco. Philip Morris, for instance, acquired Kraft Foods in 1988 for $12.9 billion.
Dang.
And later bought
12.9 billion in 1988. Jesus.
Nabisco in 2000 for $14.9 billion,
Or was it
creating one of the
1998? I
world's
don't know.
largest food conglomerates. Similarly, R.J. Reynolds merged with Nabisco Brands in 1985. These acquisitions weren't about diversifying. They were about taking the addictive expertise from cigarettes and applying it to food. These companies brought their vast knowledge of addiction science directly into your kitchen, influencing the very fabric of the American diet. It wasn't just about expanding their portfolio. It was about applying the same addictive principles of nicotine to food products, thus ensuring that the same business model, creating lifelong consumers, remained profitable.
Okay, so what would they learn from that then? The stuff that makes cigarettes addictive could also make what, like food addictive? I mean, but like what is it in cigarettes that are addictive? Nicotine? I mean, I don't smoke, so I don't know.
But this is just the tip of the iceberg. Let's listen to Callie.
So you had in the 90s these two cigarette companies very strategically do two things. They shifted their thousands of scientists who were experts at making cigarettes addictive to the food department. So we had the rise of ultra-processed food where our food now is a science experiment.
I mean, and I'm not a saint either because like back in the day, in like my 20s and like teen years, I mean, I was super addicted to what do you call it? Like all the like super processed foods and whatnot. I mean, it's mainly like salt and sugar, like the overuse of it really. But I mean, probably amongst other things. But I mean, I don't know. The older I got and the more like serious I try to start taking like health and shit. I mean, I just like I still like processed foods, but I know it's like, I don't need it. Like I'll have cookies and cakes and all that shit, but just simply not as much. Probably not the same, at least to the same degree that they would want me to like it. Big food.
The second thing they did is they shifted their lobbying. So the cigarette industry, of course, was the biggest, lobbying spenders and had a good playbook. They shifted their playbook on lobbying and rigging institutions of trust to food. So they created the food pyramid. So the
Oh, yeah.
cigarette industry, through the food companies they bought, paid off the FDA, the USDA, Harvard to create reports saying sugar doesn't cause obesity, and they lobbied for the food.
Go create reports that say these things, because what does everybody do? Go with the science. That's what everybody says. Go with the science, go with the reports, do whatever the reports say. But nobody ever stops to think about, oh, where did all the reports budget come from? What initially prompted the doing of this experiment? I think we have to take it a step further. It's not enough to just go with the science, because honestly, you could make a lot of these reports or whatever, you could make them read and say and report anything you want it to.
Pyramid in the 1990s, we all remember, which said, animal-based fats are bad, carbs are good. Remember, carbs and sugar were basically the base of the pyramid. So the American diet, because of that, because we trust our medical institutions, which they know, we shifted our diet significantly to ultra-processed food. It was very intentional, the food pyramid. That was a ultra-processed food marketing document that carbs were fine, sugar was fine. And that shifted, and you look at dietary patterns. Today, a child diet is 70% ultra-processed food. Now, what does that mean, right? Those are literally foods invented by the cigarette industry to addict kids. Obviously we've got sugar, but there's thousands of different ingredients in science concoctions by the cigarette industry to addict kids. Obviously we've got sugar, but
Addiction is a strong word, not typically applied to sugar, but it can be, it is. It can be very difficult to stop eating sugar. No shit. This isn't like news. But there's nothing inherently wrong or intrinsically wrong with sugar. It's the amount of it that captures people. Like a can of soda or whatever this is, like an ice cream. This is like an entire day's worth of sugar. Like if you were to eat all whole foods and zero processed foods, this is like a whole day's worth of sugar.
there's thousands of different ingredients in science concoctions that scientists work in a lab to make it more palatable, to make it more addictive. So food consumption, calorie consumption has skyrocketed. And the byproduct of these toxic ingredients that the cigarette industry I watched and helped with this, bought off the USDA, bought off the FDA, is they wreak havoc among our cells. The
Chemicals that have been, what did I say?
bought off the FDA is
Chemicals that have been self-affirmed by food and beverage manufacturers as generally recognized as safe without review of such status by the Food and Drug Administration. So these foods are just auto-safe. So you got to keep the super addictive foods just auto-safe, and they don't have to go under as much scrutiny as all these other processed foods.
they wreak havoc among our cells. The foundation of our diet is ingredients that we aren't biologically made to eat, that didn't exist 100 years ago. The foundation of our diet is three things when you look at any label. It's added sugar, processed sugar, which basically didn't exist 100 years ago. It's just from natural sources. Ultra-processed grains, which were invented 100 years ago. The processing takes the fiber off. They're basically hidden sugars, devoid of nutritional value. And seed oils. Seed oils are the top source.
But what is this, rice? Ultra-processed grains. What? There's some shit wrong with rice? Rice was not invented. What is this saying? Rice is invented 100 years ago? Is this not rice, or is this supposed to be like a seed? And I'm just not reading it right, because this looks like, oh, whatever. Invented by 100 years ago by taking fibers off, acts as a sugar. I think every country on the face of the planet eats rice. I don't think there's anything really wrong with rice. And then seed oils, top source of American diet calories. Seed oils. I've heard every which way. Seed oils are good for you. Seed oils are bad for you. Obviously, if you want to take the middle of the road argument, you could just say maybe have a little bit of seed oils and Like, don't overdo it with the fatty seed oils. I mean, and then obviously you got big processed sugar here. Federal government introduced sugar program in 1934. Processed sugar. I mean, I can't really defend processed sugar other than the fact that like it does stuff to your body, and in the actions that and the processes that it does to you, like your body, it's not really inherently good or bad. Obviously, if you ingest like a shitload of processed sugar, what's gonna happen? You're gonna develop like which diabetes is the dietary lifestyle one. I think it's two, and then one is like the genetic one. Like obviously, if you eat too much sugar, you're gonna get diabetes, right? So I mean, and there's sugar in every, like, even like meat. There's like a little bit of sugar, just not like a significant amount, but there's some. I mean, there's sugar in vegetables, there's sugar in fruits, there's sugar in grains, but the point of this is like it's processed sugar, so the concentration of it. I mean, it tastes really good, but probably shouldn't binge on it.
Of American calories. And this is actually
Seed oil.
Seed oil.
The top
Yeah.
source of American calories.
Soybean oil, canola oil. This is the baseline of American calories right now. And these seed oils were actually created by John D. Rockefeller as a byproduct of oil production. It's basically engine lubricant. And
Jesus.
Rockefeller and those aligned with him actually lobbied to have this suitable for human consumption. That's how seed oils came into the American diet. They're much cheaper, but they're highly inflammatory. And just by definition, just at the highest level, these ingredients and all the chemicals we can't name that are in ultra-processed food are not natural ingredients that our bodies are made to handle. So there's, as we talk about in Good Energy, this produces a lot of side effects to our cells. The food industry isn't trying to kill Americans. They're trying to make food cheap and addictive.
They didn't just stop at
Damn.
manipulating the food itself. They took their lobbying playbook to a whole new level, targeting the
Damn, cheap and addictive. I mean, maybe they're hitting up on the addictive part, but not recently. This shit is not cheap. Food is not cheap anymore, dude.
institutions that Americans trust the most. The cigarette companies poured millions into lobbying efforts, influencing public health guidelines and dietary recommendations. They paid off prestigious institutions like Harvard, Stanford, and even government agencies like the FDA and USDA to produce favorable research. Reports funded by these companies downplayed the dangers of sugar and ultra-processed foods, convincing the public that these harmful ingredients were safe. This wasn't just a shift in policy. It was a deliberate, well-funded campaign to rewrite the science of nutrition, making ultra-processed foods the new normal. They weren't just buying companies, they were buying credibility and trust. What you're about to hear from Callie will
This change would mean an increase in the per capita consumption of sugar more than a third, with a tremendous improvement in general health.
reveal just how deep this manipulation runs. Let's listen in.
And what I learned, in the morning meeting with the food companies, trying to lobby and influence the USDA, being the lifeblood of nutrition research, paying off, nutrition research at Harvard and Stanford as a junior employee, shocked by that.
So you saw that?
Oh, my first week, as working for these industries, it was a
Dang.
list of top professors.
Ultra processed foods and human health. An updated meta analysis of observed evidence.
The food industry pays 11 times more for foundational nutrition research than the NIH.
NIH awards 170 million for a precision nutrition study.
You go to any nutrition school in the country, the lifeblood of their school, they'll proudly admit this is from the processed food industry.
Damn. They proudly admit it's from the processed food industry is where they get all their money. They just literally out themselves then.
Past 2 years,
being
there's
biased.
been 50,000 peer-reviewed research studies on nutrition. We're the only animal that has peer-reviewed nutrition studies, and we're the only animals that are systematically obese, diabetic, and being crippled by metabolic dysfunction.
The manipulation
Damn.
of our food system didn't stop with changing guidelines. It went deeper, directly hijacking our biology. The food industry,
Yep, toss out the carrot, toss out the vegetable, eat the cookie. It's good for you. You're going to get healthy from the cookie. You're going to get infinite energy from the cookie. It'll make you feel better. Whereas if you eat the vegetable, it's going to taste disgusting. It's not going to give you energy. All right. It's not going to do anything good for you. You're going to hate it. Blah, blah, blah.
By the same tactics used by cigarette companies, engineered products specifically designed to be addictive, using ingredients like high fructose corn syrup, artificial flavorings, and other chemical additives. These companies knew exactly how to trigger the brain's reward system, making us crave more and eat beyond our natural needs.
Dang.
This isn't just a change in diet, it's a calculated effort to exploit our natural instincts. In the wild, we evolved to seek out sugary, high-calorie foods when they were rare, like fruit, to ensure our survival. The food industry has hijacked this biological drive, flooding the market with ultra-processed products that override our natural satiation signals, leaving us constantly hungry for more. But how does this actually affect us on a daily basis? Kaylee Means dives into the shocking truth of how this engineered addiction impacts our health and well-being.
Jesus.
Let's listen to what he has to say.
I mean, is this not like everybody's childhood though? I mean, depending on how you think about it, it's either happy or reminiscent, or it's like sad and like depressing and regretful, right? Because it's like, oh, all my childhood memories had to do with like all these ultra processed foods, and it's like that little link is what, you know, big food wants. They want you to remember your childhood with all these like sugary things and whatnot, right? That's what they want you to think. So that way you have a good feeling whenever you go to like a buy it when you go into Walmart or whatever. You don't feel as guilty. It's like, oh, I've had fucking Coca-Cola for forever, since I was like 9 or however old, or I've been eating like Twinkies or whatever for a long time, and there's no possible way it could be bad for you, right? I don't have any positive memories about eating vegetables, or anytime I do think about eating vegetables, I throw up or I gag or whatever. They're never, you know, you have to cook them. You have to cook them right. You know, it's all this other prep time. There's this like processed food. You just buy it. It's in a box. There's no cooking, and it's just you eat it, right?
The problem, very strategically, and this is well known among the industry, is that ultra processed food does, because they're able to do this science experiment with our food, it hijacks our biology, it hijacks our satiety signals. You know, high fructose corn syrup, fructose, it makes us want to eat more. Because in the wild, you know, when you see a bunch of fruit out there, you know, you're well advised to eat it, you know, historically. We've basically rigged our biology to hijack our signals that, you know, make us satiated. So that's what ultra processed food does.
Today, our grocery aisles are filled with foods designed to keep us hooked.
Yeah.
Products that are scientifically crafted to make us crave more.
Jesus.
From sodas and snacks to frozen meals and even supposedly healthy options, the same addictive ingredients are present. High fructose corn syrup, artificial sweeteners, MSG, and a cocktail of preservatives.
Ascorbic acid, sodium sorbate, sorbates, benzoic acid, sodium benzate, benzates, sulfur dioxide, sulfates, nitrates. Nitrites and nitrates.
These ingredients are not just additives. They are specifically engineered to hijack our taste buds and keep us reaching for more. High fructose corn syrup, for example, is a cheaper alternative to sugar that's found in nearly everything.
Damn.
Soft drinks, bread, sauces, and even yogurts.
Yeah.
It doesn't just add sweetness, it disrupts our metabolism and contributes to obesity, diabetes, and liver disease. Then there's MSG, a flavor enhancer commonly found in chips, canned soups, and fast food.
Canned soups and fast foods. Wait, MSG? Oh, monosodium glutamate. Also known as sodium glutamate, is a sodium salt, a glutamic acid.
Are commonly found in chips, canned soups, and fast food, which triggers our brain's pleasure centers, making food taste irresistibly good while masking poor quality ingredients. Another major offender is seed oil.
I think it's good that at least people, I think, are, I mean, I don't even know if this is true, because I want to say that like people are like becoming a little bit more educated, but isn't America still like the most obese country on like the planet? Or it's up there. Maybe it's not number one, but it's like up there, which isn't saying much. But But I don't know, just like maybe it's because I seldom like go out anymore. Really, like I only like, really go to the gym or whatever. Um, I can't even say that, no, because if I go to Walmart, I see like bodies, like everybody's body that like, and I see like fat people, I see skinny people, and I don't think I have like a refined enough memory to like kind of divvy them up into like slices. It's like, oh, this week I saw like 60% fat people, or next week I only saw 50% and 40%, and like it's going less. But like, no, I can't even say that. I don't
Oils
know.
like soybean, canola, and corn oil. Originally developed as industrial lubricants, these oils are now a staple in processed foods because they are cheap. However, they are highly inflammatory and linked to chronic health issues like heart disease, obesity, and cancer. Studies have shown that these oils now make up a significant portion of the average American diet,
Jesus.
despite being nutritionally devoid and harmful. When you look at any nutrition label today, you'll often see a mix of added sugars, processed grains, and seed oils, ingredients that didn't even exist a century ago. This
Oh, wait, let me see that.
mix of added sugars, processed grains, and seed oils, ingredients that didn't even exist a century ago.
Beef tallow, which is like cow fat, lard, which is like pig fat, and then butter. I don't even know what kind of fat butter is. It's just butter. Is this like milk fat? I forgot.
This toxic trio is now the foundation of our diet, leading to widespread metabolic dysfunction, chronic diseases, and a healthcare system overwhelmed with preventable conditions.
Oh yeah, the American Heart Association, they always vouch for like big the big food industries. It's like, oh guys, it's not the oils, it's not the sugars, or at least the excessive amounts of them anyway, that's causing heart disease. It's all this other bullshit.
The food industry's manipulation has not only redefined our palates, but also the health of entire generations.
So that's the food industry, okay? The food industry actually, with their own set interests, want to make food addictive and cheaper. It kind of makes sense. The criminal devil's bargain is that it's highly tied to the healthcare industry. And as Casey said, the fastest growing industry in America right now isn't AI. It's not tech, it's healthcare. It's the
Jesus.
largest and fastest growing industry. And just as a statement of economic fact, the best thing for that industry is a child getting sick.
While many people think of AI or technology as the fastest growing sectors in the US, the truth is far more alarming. As Callie highlights, it's healthcare. The healthcare industry has become the largest and fastest growing sector in America.
Damn.
Not because of groundbreaking cures or innovations.
It's just more people engaging with it, period. That sucks, dude.
But because of the rising tide of chronic illness and disease, from diabetes to heart disease. The explosion of preventable conditions has turned healthcare into a booming business. But here's the harsh economic reality. The system isn't designed to prevent illness. It profits from it. The healthcare industry thrives on chronic diseases, where patients require lifelong medications and treatments. The sicker people become, the more profitable it is. From pharmaceutical companies selling expensive drugs to hospitals benefiting from repeated treatments,
Damn.
Every stage of a patient's journey through illness is an opportunity for profit. As Callie suggests, this isn't just about adults, it's about our children too. With childhood obesity, diabetes, and other conditions on the rise.
Jesus. Well, that's about to take a harsh downturn in the future because less and less people are having kids. So we're going to see what happens in like another 10, 20 years.
The healthcare system is essentially setting up a new generation of lifelong patients. It's a system that benefits from kids getting sick early, ensuring a steady stream of revenue from treatment, not prevention. This chilling reality reveals a deeper truth. The best economic outcome for the healthcare industry is not a healthy population, but one that remains perpetually unwell. Let's get back to Callie as he exposes how this cycle of sickness and profit operates at the expense of our health.
So just keep America sick and keep them coming into the hospital or the clinic or whatever. And then keep them, which does subsequently what? It keeps the, assuming you have insurance. I mean, that's assuming you have insurance, but not a lot of people will have like health insurance, man.
when a child gets sick or any American gets sick with a chronic condition, with diabetes, obesity, kidney disease, heart disease, whatever, they go on a lifetime medication. They go on the metformin, they go on the statin, they have lifetime treatments, and they keep racking up more comorbidities. If you're diabetic, you have an average of 4 other comorbidities. So you keep racking up, but you don't die, you just suffer. You inevitably get infertility, depression, you start racking them up. So that's very good for the medical system to have these chronic conditions that need to be managed. Just from a pure economic standpoint, that's how the system's set up. That's all happening largely because of our food system and other metabolic habits we can talk about, but largely because of our rise of ultra-processed food that's really hacking our cells and really hijacking our cells.
As Callie highlights, the healthcare system's silence on the root causes of our growing health crisis is not just negligence, it's complicity. Research shows that major health organizations, including the American Diabetes Association and the American Heart Association, receive significant funding from food and pharmaceutical companies whose products contribute to the very diseases these organizations are supposed to fight.
So who are we supposed to listen to then? If not for these like big like health organizations, if all they're doing is getting their money from big food, who already is incentivized to like give out disinformation. Well, what the fuck?
This financial influence shapes everything from dietary guidelines to public health messages, creating a conflict of interest that puts profits ahead of public health. For instance, Coca-Cola and other sugary beverage companies have been known to funnel money into research that downplays the link between sugar consumption and obesity. Studies funded by these companies often contradict independent research findings, casting doubt on the true impact of their products. Similarly, the pharmaceutical industry spends billions on lobbying efforts and contributions to health organizations, ensuring that the narrative remains focused on treatment rather than prevention. Callie's observations are backed by a growing body of evidence, showing that these industries have a vested...
Wait, what'd that say? Nestle and Coca-Cola others raising conflict of interest questions.
Are backed by a growing body of evidence, showing that these industries have a vested interest in maintaining the status quo. The financial entanglements between food companies, pharmaceutical giants, and health organizations create a system where public trust is routinely compromised. This isn't just speculation. It's documented in financial disclosures and research publications.
Partnerships offer the food industry another important benefit: obfuscation.
These partnerships have...
Wait, what the...
It's documented in financial disclosures and research publications. These
caloric intake as the primary driver of rising obesity.
Partnerships have real consequences. Dietary guidelines that emphasize processed foods and overlook the harms of sugar are a direct result of industry.
The proposal's NP, which is used to determine the threshold above which a product must be labeled, is too radical and restrictive and lacks scientific rationale. Nutrient profile. Oh. The proposal's nutrient profile, which is used to determine the threshold above which a product must be labeled, is too radical and restrictive. This contradicts the principal aim of FOPL, as it does not promote nor allow reformulation towards healthier products. Mostly all products will be labeled.
Influence, contributing to the rise in chronic diseases that keep the healthcare system profitable. As Callie suggests, this isn't just a failure of the system, it's a deliberate design that puts corporate profits above public health.
Yeah.
Let's hear more from Callie as he uncovers the
that's true.
depths of this troubling alliance.
The criminal part, the devil's bargain, is that the healthcare system, you'd expect to be speaking out about why we're getting so sick, but they're not only silent on the reasons, they're not only trained Casey the first day of Stanford Med School, that we're basically taking it as a given that people are lazy and gonna get sick, we're just gonna profit from treating them. They're silent on that, they're actually complicit. Working for Coke, I helped steer money to the American...
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, working for Coca-Cola, they actually pay money to the American Diabetes Association.
Damn.
They actually pay money to the American Academy of Pediatrics.
Damn. If that's not damning evidence, yeah, like in and of itself, there's like nothing harmful, but it's like, what was the intent behind the giving of that money?
If there's one thing the American Diabetes Association, which sets the standard of care for diabetes management, should be doing, they should be saying, we're not going to accept money from Coke, which is diabetes water. They accept money from Coke.
Callie Means, along with his sister Casey Means, a respected doctor, have
diabetes
come together
water.
to expose the disturbing connections between Big Pharma, the food industry, and our healthcare system. Their combined experiences, Callie as a former insider and Casey as a medical professional, bring a unique perspective to this critical issue. They've dedicated themselves to unraveling these hidden truths, sharing their insights on platforms like Tucker Carlson's podcast, which I highly recommend watching. In a world full of misinformation and conflicting narratives, it's more important than ever to seek the truth. Callie and Casey's revelations are eye-opening, challenging the systems that many of us trust without question. But if listening to the podcast episode isn't enough, their book dives even deeper into the facts and stories that they have uncovered. It's a must-read for anyone who wants to understand how these industries influence our health and what we can do to fight back. Grab a copy and start studying. It might just change the way you see the world.
Was this entire video just an ad for this book?
World around you.
Oh man. Well, I mean, I don't think it was like a big like news flash. I mean, at least to me anyway, that like the entire like food got like portion of the government is like corrupt. I mean, whoop-de-fuck. No shit. This isn't really news to anybody. I don't know. I just thought it was a... Well, I mean, I did learn that about that dude who's like who used to be a lobbyist and is just like, I guess he was done with it. And he just like comes out. So I don't know. Maybe I'll like watch some stuff about him or something. But I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't really like force anybody to like buy your diabetes water. The best they could do is try to influence people to buy certain foods, which is why marketing is so like powerful. It's a powerful tool today. But yeah, I mean, what does everyone else feel? Our whole food country is sick. Greed is the disease. Yeah, a patient healed is a customer lost. Oh man, it's not a healthcare system, it's a sick care system. The people in these corporations are the ones who should be in prison. Yeah, I mean, what's that term? Don't hate the player, hate the game. These guys are just simply following the rules of the system that's, you know, being put in place in front of them. So they are just playing the game. If you really want to make a difference, you got to put the pressure on the people to reform the system, reform the game, make the rules different that these corporations have to follow. Lobbying should be made illegal. Oh man. Overall, cool video. I'm a fan now. I learned some stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, later.